now that you are a scholar on hip hop, meaning you are hip hop, you're not studying it objectively, you're not looking at hip hop and studying it. You are the culture itself. I am just one part of the culture speaking to the other part of the culture. If anybody was to look at us right now that didn't know this was hip hop, they could not tell you from me. We're all here together. This is one culture speaking to itself, sort of like a planning meeting. I am not the exalted KRS-One because I'm not above you at all. We talked about this a little earlier, I'll reiterate it right here. If you think for 1 minute that I am somehow better or more than you in hip hop, you flunked the test right then. You're not getting one of these. If you think for 1 minute, what you must now begin to think is, KRS is just the hip hopper that came before me. That's it. That's it. Not KRS and I'm who I am trying to be. I'm who I am trying to get to where KRS is. You're going to destroy KRS. Because I am hoping and relying on someone younger than me to do what I did better. Better. Show me something I never seen before. Don't show me me. I don't want to see me. I got enough of me. I want to see you. I want to see hip hop in other forms. And this is what we always wanted to see. Hip hop. Imagine if, when I put out the South Bronx, if I waited and said, well, this doesn't sound like what Grandmaster Flash and Melly Mel did, so I'm just going to take my career and fling it in the toilet. No, 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 no. I came out, I shouted the ancestors. Way back in the days when hip hop began with Coke Rock, Cool Herc, and then bam. B-boys ran to the latest jam. When it got shot up, they went home and said, damn. This is the history. I shouted the ancestors first. On the other side of town was a kid named Flash. Patterson and Millbrook projects, Casanovas all over. You couldn't stop it. I'm shouting out the people in my neighborhood before I come out. I'm shouting the ancestors first. Then I came out. That's when I came out. I had the respect from day one. The minute that record came out, everybody that I mentioned in the record was like, yo, you got it, man. Yo, you got it, man. Yo, yo, yo. And why? Because this is an ancient technique. I'll give it to you now. Anytime you shout out your ancestors, you are more than the person that didn't. Take it in. This. Anytime you start, find an ancestor. Just say their name one time. Malcolm X now, let's get it popping. You know, just find someone to say, could be your parents, grandmother, grandfather, somebody you really respected in your community as well, or in your family that wanted to see you make it. Somebody shout them out real quick. Yo, this goes out to Aunt Betty. Nobody know who Aunt Betty is. But you didn't know who Old Dirty Bastard was either. You didn't know who any of these people we shout. Yo, my man Pookie and them. Imagine, you don't know any of the people these people are shouting. But yet we would rather repeat the names of other people's ancestors and friends than our own. This is the scholarship. Change your thinking. You are hip hop right now. Now what you got to do is study yourself. Yourself is another version of hip hop that we need. We need. We don't need to regurgitate the same old thing. We don't grow like that. We need something new, fresh. Here's another way to do it. Here's another way to look at it. Let's advance the culture. Hip means to know. It's a form of intelligence. To be hip is to be updated and relevant. Hip comes from the African hippie or hippie cat. It's believed to come from the Wolof language. Hip, from hip, or what is called hippie cat, or hep, or heppy. Heppy is older than hippie. Happy in the Wolof language means one who is aware of his environment. Happy, to be hep. This comes out of the Wolof tribe, or at least it is believed to come from the Wolof tribe. Hip then, as I said, enters jazz, a form of knowing. If you look in the dictionaries, hip means a keen sense of knowing. Most people attach it to fashion, a keen sense of fashion, or some will say a keen sense of what's new and in style, to be hip. But there's scholarly, like if you look at the Oxford English Dictionary, hip is a form of awareness. It means to have information, to know something, to be up on something, to be hip to something. Hop is a form of movement. Hop, you can either go up like this, or you could go like this. Hop, like that. Hop is fleas hop, ticks hop, birds hop, kangaroos hop. Hop is a form of movement, either jumping up or springing forward. When you look at the terms hip and hop, just what the terms mean, we're not getting philosophical yet, just the term hip hop. Hip means to know, hop is movement. Awareness, movement. Consciousness and movement or action. Intelligence and action, activity. So hip and hop, or hip hop, means conscious movement, intelligence or awareness, moving, leaping, springing. I'm hip to my hop. I know why I move. I'm conscious, hip to my hop. My movements, I'm aware of what I'm doing. I'm deliberate. This is what hip hop means without anyone's opinion or anything, just the term hip. Surprisingly enough, this term hip and hop is what we're actually doing in society. What we're actually doing in nature. Hip hop, intelligence springing up, consciousness being awake and moving on your awakeness. I am aware of my movements. Hip hop.
So I did remember, right? Well, I now realize that I was talking about this in the third person. I knew the facts. I knew the facts, but I was not connected to myself at that moment when it happened to me. And I was able to connect only recently. And that was so different. I felt myself again as a 16-year-old who was tortured, who was waterboarded by these people, and I realized what happened. There is no other way to say it. A part of me died at that moment. And it was just left there. And what remained continued on, kind of crawling on the road of life, without even knowing, being afraid to know what really happened. What really happened. And of course, when I connected to this 16-year-old boy, I felt that. I knew that he was dead. And it's like no amount of tears can bring him back. This is what you feel. It is just so sad. It is just such a sad moment. There's nothing. Because my dream, his dream, was crushed by these people, right? There was nothing. There was nothing left. So what can you do? So that's why I was afraid. That's why I was afraid to go there. That's why I was suppressing this memory. That's why I was pretending that I did connect to it. But you know what? Then it passes. And then I had this amazing feeling that suddenly he was alive. He was with me. He was here. I lost him for 30 years, but not anymore. He's here with me, and it's him speaking to you now. That's what this is all about. It's not a game. It's about life and death. And it's about our ability to leave our dead on the battlefield of life, or having the strength and the courage to give them our love and to bring them back. So don't tell me that life is a paragraph. As a scientist, it's so tempting for me now to go out and find the proof. A scientific experiment, a perfect experiment that would prove the existence of the holy other world that Martin Gardner talked about. But he also, in the following sentence, he explained. He said, you can't prove it. You can't. You have to feel it. It's like falling in love. So I can't take whoever wrote those steps of the Avatar project. I cannot make them, I cannot tie them to a chair and make them remember and to connect to themselves and to know who they are. They have to do it themselves. You know, and it's scary. It is so scary. A wise rabbi once said, imagine one day you look at yourself in the mirror and you see a cockroach. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe you are a cockroach. But you know what? If I'm a cockroach, I would rather know it than pretend that I'm not. And also, what if I look in the mirror and see a beautiful swan? A beautiful eagle? But how will I find out if I don't have the strength and I don't have the courage to do that? To ask myself who I am, to not be afraid to go there. So what I think I should do, and all of us, is to say, it's okay. There's no fear. There should not be any fear. There should not be a fear. You can overcome your fear. You have to find the truth. You have to be yourself. You have to know who you are. Don't be afraid. I was not afraid. Look at me. Look at me. And what's the alternative? What do you prefer? You want to prefer to be a coward in misery and suffering, pretending that everything is fine? Or you want light and infinite love? Or as the great Carl Jung said, here, weakness and nothingness. There, eternal creative power. here nothing but darkness and chilling moisture. There, Holy Sun